Section 1. The Office of Distant Dreams. The story of the Peterson denial began as Sherman sat alone, bored and looking for something to entertain him. He went to Peabody's office. It was usually a place of comfort, now felt odd, ominous, empty and cold. Peabody was away at a science conference. He had left Sherman with strict instructions. No time travelling, no eating all the food from the fridge, no leaving outside and no going in his office. But Sherman didn't listen. Boredom had a way of weakening resolve in him. Sherman walked in his office. He peeked into an old, dusty photo album, pictures from his adventures with Peabody. He smiled. There he was with Gandhi. There he was with King Tut. He then saw one with Peabody interacting and shaking hands with Abraham Lincoln. And there was Penny Peterson, his friend, the girl that helped him fly. He remembered her blonde hair as she skipped ahead of him, her blue eyes with innocence, her pink dress and wonder in those eyes. He remembered her laughter echoing as they fly an airplane. He remembered her kind words. He remembered... A shiver ran down his spine. He remembered when she used to be evil to him. Her eyes... They seemed different now, wider, hungrier. They were changing, becoming something evil. A chill settled in his stomach. He didn't want to think of Penny that way. He wanted to forgive her, but some old wounds can't heal. Sometimes, if untreated, they become infected, like Sherman's psyche. Section 2. A giantess fantasy turned psychological horror. The image in his mind was vivid. His mind was going wild and creating something that was odd and disturbing. Penny from the photo was changing. She was becoming more than just a girl, more than just his friend. She was evolving beyond human limits, even beyond God himself. Penny was now a giantess, a being of pure, dark, supernatural energy. Her shadow stretched and dwarfed the city. Buildings crumbled beneath her feet. Her laughter, once playful, now boomed like a dark lullaby made of thunder, shaking the very foundation of the earth. People were screaming. Penny's parents were crying out as Penny stepped on them. Miss Grunion was crushed in her own car by Penny. Penny was an evil monster, a psychopathic serial killer wearing Penny's face. It was deeply disturbing. She would destroy everything Sherman held dear. Sherman shook his head, trying to dislodge the horrifying image. He wanted to see Penny as herself, not as a monster. It was like the bully Penny was before was growing in his mind, erasing the good Penny and taking over Sherman's mind like a virus. The evil Penny was becoming more real with each denial making her come to horrific life. Section 3. The Possession of Penny Peterson. It's just a bizarre fantasy, a vision, he muttered to himself, his voice trembling. Penny can't become this. Giant Penny isn't real. But deep down, a seed of fear had been planted, a monster that grew every time he was in denial. He went to school, not telling anybody. He then started drawing Penny as a sinister, monstrous giantess, even though he wasn't even trying to draw it. Her presence was infecting his body, forcing him to draw these disturbing images of Penny-crushing cities, killing her parents, the Petersons, in cold blood, and Miss Grunion in a disturbing fashion. He tried to write his homework, but he kept making the pictures over and over. He hid the cursed drawings, but when school was over, something evil happened. Then the normal Penny approached Sherman, looking hurt and curious of why Sherman has been avoiding her. She asked why he's acting funny around her and avoiding her. Sherman backed away. Then the papers fell out of his backpack. Penny then saw it, and it made her face look in shock. Penny then was possessed by a dark desire to become like God. She giggled. "Sherman, is this why you've been avoiding me? Because you envision me towering over you and the world. Oh, Sherman, I love it. I love this concept. I want to destroy everything. I want to make everyone toys to break and destroy. I want to make the world my playground. I want to be more." She gave in to the concepts. Dark, evil power. The dark transformation in Penny was complete. All the students vanished. The lights flickered on and off. Objects in the school started levitating in thin air. Sherman said, "Penny, please don't. You're not a monster." He tried to take her hand, then Penny slapped his hand away and said, "Oh, such a liar. You're so pathetic, Sherman. Such a dog, such a toy. I never was your friend. I never cared about you, and I would love to break you into little pieces." Then Sherman started to shrink in class as he kept denying Penny's transformation. Penny laughed with menace as she grabbed him. Then she kept calling him a bug and a dog. She views him as something less than human, making her cruelty more and more horrible. Sherman yelled, "Penny, no! You're not like this!" Penny looked down at him and said, "Oh, Sherman, you dreamed of it, didn't you? You feared me becoming more. But you always wanted it, didn't you?" "No, no, no!" Sherman yelled, "This is wrong. I never wanted this." Then Penny stretched him cruelly as he screamed in pain and begged. "Let me go, Penny, you're going to kill me," he cried out. She sneered at him with dark venom. "Not until you beg like a dog. Ooh, who's a good little doggy?" She laughed with dark innocence and menace as Sherman screamed as she was killing him. Penny then broke him. She giggled in sadistic glee. "Oh, looks like my little Sherman is broken." As everything turns black, Penny was at the point of no return. But then miraculously Sherman jolted awake in Peabody's office. He was normal-sized and alive. It was a nightmare. But then Sherman looked in horror as objects levitated in the air in Peabody's office. The ground trembled. A shadow outside was flickering to life and fell over Peabody's office. Ghosts of Miss Grunion and the Petersons were haunting the house like evil shadows, saying, "Now it's your turn to die, Sherman. Penny will destroy everything and you won't be able to deny her power anymore." They laughed evilly in unison. Sherman looked out the window, his breath caught in his throat. "No," he said, "this can't be real." Sherman was in pure utter dread. A giant delicate hand gleaming in the twilight reached down from the clouds. The hand was attached to a massive arm, and the arm to a gigantic 6,000-foot Penny. Her face, now larger than the moon, was a mask of gleeful menace. Her eyes had a predatory, psychopathic glee. "Don't be silly, Sherman," he whispered to himself, his voice barely audible above the terrified pounding of his heart. "Giant girls don't exist." But even as he said the words, he knew they were hollow. He then said, "Unless the mind allows it," he gulped. He heard Peabody's voice saying, "Don't let your dark thoughts win," but it was too late. He had seen too much in his time travels to deny the impossible. The giant Penny leaned down, her hot breath smelling like cotton candy and destruction. Then the screen went black with a child singing with words flashing denial. "Denial, denial!" "Oh, Sherman, you're such a liar, such a dog. I love that you're scared. I knew you feared me being giant, but deep down you want me to become this. I'm your beautiful nightmare," she boomed, her voice sending tremors through his very bones. Section 4. The Giantess of Denial. Sherman looked in horror. He was powerless against her terrifying, monstrous strength. She scooped him up, her laughter echoing around him like a death knell. "Penny, please don't do this," he screamed, his voice lost in the immensity of her laughter. She brought him closer to her face, her eyes, once bright and full of life, now cold and calculating. "You're mine now, Sherman," she whispered, a terrifying smile spreading across her lips. "And we're going to have so much fun as I break everything. The city is my playground, and I can't wait to destroy so many people's lives, and you can't stop me. You'll see all of the violence, all of the horror. You'll be the witness to see my destruction of your world, and the best part, you're the only one that can see me." The last thing he saw before she closed her hand around him, trapping him in a prison of her own making, was the world being destroyed by her skipping and stomping on buildings, her giggling evilly as she held him prisoner, his worst nightmare becoming his reality. Everyone he knew was killed. Mr. Peabody tried to stop her by time traveling, but it didn't work. She sent Peabody lost in time forever. She was a monster that would end everything Sherman loved, and there's nothing Sherman or Peabody could do to stop her. Sherman crawled on the ground as giant Penny shook the ground. Her Mary Jane shoes stomped on people as they were crushed violently. She giggled as the last thing he saw was her huge face looking down at him with the evil, cute, smug smile, with his scared reflection in her huge blue eyes. As everything went pitch black with white words saying, "Denial, denial, denial," denial as a child voice sung in a creepy tone.